Well, actually worked out really well. Upstairs, when I was trying to cut below the tub to be able to slide my tile underneath, I just used a Sawzall. But down here in the lower bathroom, I used one of those vibrating saws, and I just laid my tile piece, scrap piece along there, drew a line, so I rotated this around as I went and drew a line so I knew where to cut at, and then I just nipped it right off, so now I can put my pieces right under there and won't have to worry about cutting any angles or weird things like that. So this is a curved tub, which, by the way, do not buy one of these dang things. It's an American Standard Ovation tub or a shower pan that they sell at Home Depot. The center is warped, so it actually holds water from about here all the way over to here and about from there to there. It holds a lot of water in this pan, and I didn't realize that until I put it in and we were testing the plumbing. Well, by that time we were just too far along. So Home Depot did give me the money back for the pan, but of course nothing else. The only option would be to rip everything back out again. I'm definitely not doing that. But it's a known problem. I've seen reviews going back years on this dang shower pan, and I don't know why I didn't look at the reviews. Usually I'm really good at looking at product reviews and things, see if there's any issues. If I would have checked, I would have seen a whole bunch of issues with it, but for some reason I didn't, and now we're going to pay the price. So I'm trying to figure out solutions to this. This is going to be Barry's primary shower, and he said he just basically take a squeegee and just squeegee over to the drain, but there's quite a bit of water there. So my only thought would be to, since this lip is down quite a bit from the top here down, I bet it's probably, boy, I don't know, over 1/4 of an inch, 5/16, 3/8 would be pushing it. But I thought about just routering a groove down the middle here and then giving it a way for that water to come in and then run this direction. So to do that, to make sure that I don't just router a deeper valley here, I would have to basically build a platform along both sides that's perfectly level, and then run my router, slide it along there, because it should not be touching here, and then as I go this way it'll grind deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into it until it gets there, so it should eventually plane out until it doesn't hit anything at all. So that's one option, and then I would have to get some tub paint and sealer to seal up the groove that I just made. That may be a little bit annoying when you're taking a shower. I don't know, that seems like a viable option. The other option would be to fill this with something. I was thinking of an epoxy. Everything I've read though says do not do that, because it'll crack and pop. It's also very slippery. But I was thinking if I roughed up the surface, and I'll have someone walk on this first and see if there's any give and play. If there's any give and play, I definitely won't do it, because if this bends in any shape or fashion, I can definitely see it popping the epoxy off. But if it's really solid, I think that would be an option, since epoxy is self-leveling, would be to basically tape around the outside areas, pour the epoxy in here, let it self-level all the way out to my tape edges, so everything would get raised up. And it would not be raised up around the drain area, but this would be perfectly level. Then hopefully what would happen is that when Barry takes a shower, or anyone takes a shower in here, this being level, it'd have to drain out to some side, or maybe a little bit of water sitting on top that would evaporate. And then I thought that once it got tacky or was almost dry, I could maybe take a paint roller across it, something like that, to give it some sort of texture, or just come back later and put those texture stickers on there. That seems like a lot more work versus just routering a line, but I don't really know what the best option is yet. So that will probably be done in a later video, but right now I'm going to go ahead and knock this bathroom out. And our seam here, I already did one seam over here in the entryway where we changed the style. So again, if you buy the exact same style flooring, now I will say that Home Depot's LifeProof, their tile and their planking, wood planking, they do not click together. I called them, I talked several times. Everyone said, oh yes it will, same product, it'll all click together. I ended up going to a neighboring town where there was a Home Depot there, and they actually had some tile in stock that someone had brought back. So I was able to actually try kicking the tile into the wood planking. It did not work at all. So when I bought this planking, I was definitely making sure that everything fit in the way it was supposed to. And it does beautifully. So much to the point where I went ahead and bought some more tile to do another room. So I got clean below here first, but that just locks in perfectly like that. So all my seams, my transitions worked out pretty well. This ended up being about a 1/2 inch off, so the door is going to be sliding right along here. So underneath the door, you're going to see a little bit of the wood trim. That's about the best I could do. This transition, this is going to go into that same tile look, is perfectly, lines up great. Barry's room, which I just put the flooring down there, did not line up perfectly, so I didn't have to worry about working from this direction over there to make sure that lined up, which would have been difficult because we don't have our cabinets in yet. You're not supposed to put this under the cabinets, so I was able just to start a whole new floor over there on its own. But then that one lined up perfectly, and then this one lined up perfectly. So we went ahead and we were going to do this in wood. We went back and forth on doing wood or tile, but I've got some kind of a gray 24 by 12 tile coming in tomorrow, and then we're going to lay that in throughout here. So we'll have white cabinets, kind of a gray and dark, actually looks a lot like concrete, a little bit lighter colored floor. Then we'll have stainless steel countertops going around, and then we'll have stainless steel above here with white base cabinets, and then white cabinets above. So that's the plan in here. Here's some of Natalie's specialty light plate switches and stuff that she got. Now we ordered these too, thinking of product reviews. We ordered these and didn't realize until we got them that a standard light switch, so if I were to put this through the back, because these things are really thick, so if I put this through the back, you can see how deep that switch is and how far in it is, so it only sticks out a little bit, and that doesn't make much sense. So we're really debating if we're actually going to use these or not. But I tested this out and took a plug, or took a switch, and I bent this ear back. So if you look at this ear, you can see how it bends forward right there, about a 1/16 of an inch. And all I did was I bent that backwards on both sides. And luckily, there's enough play in this screw that it still screws into the boxes okay. And then when you do that, it's actually not that bad. It actually fits in there fairly decently. So this is the first plate that we put on. So it's still recessed in there a little bit, but it's only back, well, maybe about a 32nd of an inch. So that sticks out a lot farther than it did before. So now it looks good and fits good. So we can go ahead and use those now to figure out how to get that switch issue resolved. And we found a lot of people online complaining about the exact same thing. Most of the complaints were funny. They would say, my wife went and bought these big ceramic switches, plates, and now they won't fit anything. But that's how you can fix it. So I'm going to get back to doing this before. Try and get these lights up before Natalie gets home. She's got the girls and they're in town right now. They could be heading back at any moment. So these are the pendant lights that she had picked out. I've already got all my wires set up, so all I gotta do now is just hang them so I can do it in about 15 minutes before she gets here. Well, clearly I was a little too ambitious, think I could get all 3 of these up in 15 minutes. Anyways, I got the first one up, nice and pretty. Kind of a pain in the butt though, but anyways, first one's always takes the longest because you've never done it before. It's hard to figure out what goes where and all that fun stuff. So anyways, now that one's done, I know what to expect on the other 2 and hopefully they'll go up a lot faster. Well, as luck would have it, I screwed it up. So the first one, I cut the extra cord probably about 16 inches, and that was way too much, having to shove it up inside. I didn't know how low this was going to be hanging. So this one, I'm like, oh, I'll cut off at 6 inches. That'll be great. Well, the problem is from here, it goes way up into there. Probably, maybe I cut that one at 20 inches. It was a pretty long cord. But anyways, I need more than 6 inches. I need probably about 10 inches because now this ring, there's another piece that hooks onto here and that's supposed to hook onto there. You can see that's short, about 2 inches at least. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I may look at, see if I can unscrew this and actually just rewiring the whole thing is the only thing I can think of. All right. So I took this apart and it is very clear that I am not going to be able to weed a new wire through this to give me that extra 2 inches that I need. So my options are to splice this inside of this guy right here. Probably not the best idea. I could splice it, tape everything up, and have it sitting, my splices inside there, and then add 6 inches onto that. That would work. I suppose that would be probably the quickest option. The other option would be to cut this ring, pry it apart, and then hook it directly onto the top. So where that ring is right there, I would take out the piece in the middle and just hook it directly to the top. But that may not give me enough line still. The third option would be to get a bigger one of these, because this does not fit around there. It won't get in there. So if I can get a bigger one of these, that's black, or paint it black, do that, and then I would just leave the little ring hanging there just as decoration, so that may work too. So I don't know, I'm not sure what the best option is right now. I'll probably go ahead and splice it. So I'll basically, these are all cut evenly. I'll stagger my cuts. This one there, that one there, the ground further down, and then wire up new ones, tape everything together, and then that'll slip up inside here. That should work. That took way longer than it should. So the first one was just trying to figure out exactly how to hang them and how, just the whole process. You get a new light, you've never done it before. It just takes a little bit of time to figure it out. The second one I screwed up on, ended up having to splice wires, and that worked out okay. I cut the wires too short. The first one I cut the wires too long. I also tried to assemble it as I was putting it up. The second one I realized I need to assemble it all as one piece and then put it up, and that worked out great, but then my wires were too short. Then I'd take it down and then splice the wires and then add on extra 6 inches so I can get it to fit up in there properly. Third one went fine. So they're all up and looking pretty snazzy. Now there's no power to these yet, so they're just there for looks right now, but I've still got to wire up the switches. There's a 4-way, so I have a switch there's a switch underneath that rug right there, and there's a switch on that wall where the entryway is. So it's a 4-way switch, and I'm not even close to getting that hooked up yet. But at least the lights are up so we can admire them.
It is. Those are big ones. Oh, look, there's a baby.
Where is a baby?
Do you see the baby?
Yeah, there's a baby.
Sydney, do you see the baby?
Yeah, there's a baby.
Oh,
Zoom in, I can't.
how many are there? Maybe you can see better up there.
3 babies. You want to find that one? There's one over there.
Oh, I see 3 little heads. Yeah,
Oh, Tim, come here quick. You can see.
I can see them. Oh, boy, it's a bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Six babies.
Dang dog.
7, 8. 8 babies. See? Oh my gosh, they can fly really high.
Oh, yeah, well, they roost up in the trees.
That's probably not a good idea.
What?
Well, that one just flying off that way.
Yeah, there's one baby sitting right there in the tree.
So what do we count? 8 babies or 10?
Riding dogs.
Huh?